Hey y'all, happy Thursday. If you don't know me, my name is Shanta Prince, and I work with women experts and coaches, and I basically teach them how to turn their expertise into an online business. So, with that being said, I've worked with quite a few amazing ladies, and I want to talk about why it's so important to work on yourself, why working on yourself is the best business strategy. And the reason why this topic is so important is because I just told you that I work with mostly women. I work with gents every now and then, but I mostly work with women. And one of the things that I've come to understand being a woman myself and also working with women is that a lot of times we just do the work. We just get things done and we're busy and we forget to focus on ourselves sometimes. And I feel like in business it's the same way. We get so caught up into the everyday things that we have to do with business and we forget all about ourselves. And so you have to have a plan, a personal development plan and strategy for working on yourself and your own personal development. And why is that so important for business, right? Well, the first thing is that your business will never grow beyond you. Your business will never grow beyond you. And so, let me just give you an example. So, I've had clients just straight tell me, I'm not doing that. When I'm teaching them, like, what it takes to be successful and the things that they need to do to be able to close the kind of sales they want, make the kind of money they want. I've had some clients just outright say, I'm not doing that, right? And so that's the example of like how your business will never grow beyond you because if your mindset is okay, well, this is what it takes to be successful, but I'm not doing that, then you're going to stay stuck for a very long time. Now, here's the deal: when you're growing an online business, there's so many different ways you can be successful. Like there's no one cookie cutter way to be successful. And you define what success is for you. For some people, success is six figures. For some people, success is seven figures. For some people, success is okay, I just want to be able to supplement my income so I can be able to live the kind of life that I want. So you define what success is for you. So the thing with business is you get to determine first of all what success is for you. The other thing is you get to do it the way that you want to do it, but there are some exceptions. So you can build your business your way. You can do it how you want to do it, but there are some principles that every business owner has to have in place. And so when I work with my clients, I teach them the different things that they can do to accomplish a goal. So for example, if the goal is visibility, there are different ways to get visibility, and I'll teach them the different ways that they can go about getting visibility. But the principle of getting visibility still stands. We all need visibility for so that our businesses can grow, so that our people that the people that we're called to serve can discover us, right? We need to be discoverable. And so visibility is the principle, but how you go about visibility could vary from person to person. Some people don't like being on video. So I had a client, for example, who loved doing Clubhouse. She preferred audio, but she was crushing it. So she was still finding clients by going on Clubhouse, and then they would come and connect with her on Instagram, and she would close the sale in the DMs, and that's how she got her clients repeatedly. So for her, that was her strategy, but she was still getting visibility because she was using Clubhouse. Now, I have another client who goes live all the time. She's on video. She loves the camera loves her. And that's how she goes about getting visibility. So it's one thing if you say, okay, well, I'm not doing video for visibility. I'm going to do podcasting, right? That's a whole different thing than just saying, well, I'm not doing visibility. No, because you got to do some things, right? Some things are principles that every entrepreneur needs. And so if your mindset towards the things that you need to get done are, well, I'm not doing that, or I'm just I'm skipping that part, you're never going to be able to achieve the kind of success you want. And so one of the things that um I really work hard to do is to make sure my clients have information. Not just clients who are in my programs, but my students when they join my workshops and things like that. I really go above and beyond to make sure they have all of the information so they can go and do what they signed up for the workshop to do or what they signed up for my program to do. I want everybody to win. So when you work with me, you're going to have all the information that you need, but then the next step is to take action. And what I find is that when people don't work on themselves, and they don't have a personal development plan for their own personal progress, then they struggle even when they do have all the information. You could have all the knowledge in the world, but if you struggle with your mindset, you're going to have problems implementing that information. So that's why working on yourself is the best business strategy, because you could have all the information and not do the work. And so first of all, your attitude, you got to work on your own attitude. We all do. We all have, sometimes we have wrong attitudes towards things that we need to change. And I've been in places too where I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to change my perspective on this so I can get where I'm trying to go. It's just life. It's just something that we all have to do. So your attitude toward some things may have to change so that you can get ahead. Your mindset towards the difficult things. If you're called to entrepreneurship, you are a problem solver. We all have problems that we're facing on a regular basis. So what has helped me is I actually get excited about those things. Like, okay, well, if the problem is traffic, I need traffic for more visibility. Okay, now how do we solve the problem? How do we get more traffic? It's actually more exciting for me because I love a good puzzle. I was the person in school. I loved math. I loved doing chemical equations, all those things. But they were exciting to me because they were like puzzles that needed to be solved. And so when you're growing your business, you're going to face problems. You're going to face issues that need solving, and you have to be the chief problem solver in your business. Now, of course, you're going even if it means hiring somebody, right? You're going to have people that are going to support you, but you are the chief problem solver, and that means even hiring somebody. Maybe the problem is not something that you personally can fix, but maybe you're hiring someone as the solution, right? That is you being the chief problem solver. Like, okay, I can't fix this, but let me hire somebody who can. Let me bring somebody on my team who can handle this situation. And so, and then if you find that that person is not solving the problem to your standards or to what you need that problem to be solved on, then guess what you got to do? You got to let that person go and then find somebody else, right? So that's still you being the chief problem solver. Now, you don't have to be the smartest, but you do have to be able to solve issues. And so when you're facing those things, you really got to level up in your mindset and say, okay, this is a problem that we're dealing with. How am I going to solve? How am I going to solve this issue? Even if it means bringing somebody on, right? Because it may not be like a how can I solve it, but who can I bring on that can solve this problem, right? So we don't run away from problems. We don't shy away from problems. We're entrepreneurs. We are problem solvers. So your mindset towards solving problems also needs to change. So what I've discovered with working with ladies over the years is that um, I can tell when they're stuck personally, when their business is not growing. So if your business is in the same place that it was 3 years ago, then that's a sign that you're not growing the way you should be growing. And we've all had those issues where it's like, you know what, I've been in this same place for a minute now. What lesson am I not getting? What am I not learning? Because I want to get out of this place. So how do I move ahead? Now it doesn't always mean that you it's something negative that you have to do or to change. It could just be you needing to level up in certain areas. Maybe you need to believe bigger. Maybe you need to change out some habits. Maybe you spend too much time on one area of business and you need to just put that time into something else in your business. Maybe maybe it's something like that that you just have to change. But we always have to self-assess, look at ourselves and say, okay, what do I need to work on? What's next? And some people, sometimes you may have a coach or a mentor who's helping you to see those blind spots and helping you to work through those things. But what I found is that so many women, they're doing such hard work, but they're not seeing the payoff. And this in those situations, it's like, okay, let me think about the work that I'm doing. Am I doing the right things? Am I actually doing the things that move my business forward? That's another thing about like self-assessing and saying, okay, let me take a step back and look at what I'm doing. And if you're not in a place where you can do that for yourself, and you have a coach or a mentor or someone who can help you, definitely lean into that. I'm always telling my clients, hey, look, I'm seeing that you're doing this, or I'm seeing that you're stuck on this area. And sometimes it's just a blind spot. Maybe they just don't know that they're stuck. Maybe you don't know. Maybe I don't know sometimes that I'm stuck in a certain area. For example, I remember when I was struggling to raise my prices, and my mentors basically was like, "You need to charge this for that. You need to charge this price for that program." And and I was just like, "Okay, I definitely need to level up because I was really undervaluing my services." And so I had someone that was seeing a blind spot and saying, "Listen, you gotta level this thing up in this area." I do the same thing for my clients because they're not just investing just for the fun of it, right? They're investing so they can grow. And so when I see them not growing or when I see them struggling with a certain thing, I call it out, right? Because if I don't call it out, then what what how am I helping them? How am I serving them if I just not don't call out their blind spots or their areas for growth? So you want to think about, what do you need to do for your mental health? How can you work on your mental health? How can you work on your physical health, your body, moving your body? I literally had several talks with myself today just to get up and get my workout in. It took a lot because I really didn't want to work out today. And so I finally got it together and got my workout done. But I know how important exercise is. We could do a whole nother topic on what exercise does for your body, what it does for your mind, how it can help you be a better leader, because we're all leaders, right? If you have a business, you are a leader. Even if you're a solopreneur, you are a leader. And so you want to think about those things. What are you doing for your physical health? What are you doing for your mental health? What are you doing for your faith? For those of us who are people of faith, most of you guys know that I am a believer. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and so because of that, I need to work on my faith, my walk with God on a regular basis. And that's another thing that I'm constantly assessing. Like, okay, what areas do I need to look at in my life so that I can align with God's purpose for my life? So, what are you doing for your faith walk? All of those things go into you being able to build a successful business. But most importantly, think about also your mindset too, your mindset towards certain things. And this is something, y'all, that I have really found that's helping me to grow tremendously, is looking at those areas where my mindset has not been the right mindset towards certain things. You know how it says I have clients who are like, "Oh, I'm not doing that." I've had things in my business where I didn't have the attitude of I'm not doing that. It's just certain things that I know that I should be doing that I don't take as seriously. Like, for example, I talked about how years ago I had a podcast and I stopped the podcast because I didn't recognize how powerful a podcast really is. And so now I'm like, okay, so now I'm revisiting that. Like, okay, at the time I just didn't know how powerful a podcast actually is. And being that I am a teacher and a speaker, I'm like, I probably need to revisit that. And I have been revisiting that. But that's something that I'm looking back on, like, okay, like I feel like at the time I was just doing it just to be doing it, but now I understand the power of it. So that's an example of growth where I'm like, okay, I probably should never have closed that podcast down. I probably should have kept going. But listen, we can't change the past. We can only build an incredible future. We can only look to the future. The past has nothing new to say to us, right? Other than the lesson that we learned, and then we apply that lesson to the future. But that's just an example of how I'm able to look back at something and say, okay, wait a minute, like I probably should have worked on this a little bit more, or what can I learn from this moving forward? So sometimes it just takes you looking back at some things and understanding where you need to change and how you can apply that moving forward to your business so you can actually grow. So, if you don't already have a plan, I would highly encourage you to get a plan for yourself. What are you reading? What are you doing every day? What's going into your body? All those things. Sometimes we don't think about those things as entrepreneurs because we're so busy thinking about business stuff. Like, where's my next sale coming from? How am I gonna launch this next masterclass? We're too focused on those things to really think about, okay, like what do I need to do for myself? How can I work on myself? How can I improve myself? And so think about that throughout this next week. What areas of yourself do you need to focus on so that your business can grow? And make sure you're also resting when you need to rest. That is a part of working on yourself, resting when you need to rest. Some of us go so hard. I know I do. I go so hard for my clients, for my students. And sometimes I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to shut this down so I can rest. But I wasn't always like that. I used to look at naps like, okay, naps are for losers, right? I used to think that way. And so that's another thing that I had to change. Right now, I love a good nap because I feel refueled. I've refueled. I feel recharged. And sometimes because I use my brain so much, I'm thinking a lot during the day. Sometimes I need to like rest my brain so I can get up and continue to serve my clients. Now I love a good nap, and I understand that naps are crucial. Resting is crucial when I'm working so hard and I'm putting so much energy, so much effort forward every day with my thoughts and my ideas, because that's how I serve my clients, with my ideas and my thoughts and my knowledge and my skills. And so sometimes that can be exhausting. So I need to rest sometimes. And there's been times when I will tell a client, like if they're asking me for a certain thing or I'm supposed to give them a certain thing, I'll say, you know what, let me think about it, because right now, if I'm in a place where I feel spent or I feel like I'm exhausted, that would, if I give them an answer, it probably wouldn't be my best. So I'll tell them, you know what, let me think about it. Let me get back with you tomorrow on this, because I know that once I rest and then I start my day fresh, now my mind is sharp and I'm ready to give my best. And so that's another thing about like understanding yourself and working on yourself, resting when you need to rest, understanding when your bet you can give, when you can give your best, and when you can't, and being okay with sharing that, or being okay with saying no, not right now, let me get rested up, let me take some time with this. That's totally okay. As a matter of fact, I think my clients prefer that. They would prefer that I give them the answer, or I give them my help, my ideas, my strategies when I'm at my when I'm at my best. But for me, like I know when I'm spent for the day, I don't have anything to give, right? At that time, when the day is over, when my day is done, I'm at a place where I'm like, I just don't have that sharpness or that that mental tenacity that I normally have during the day. And that's perfectly okay. But it's all about knowing yourself and knowing when to shut things down, when to shut things off, because you don't want to burn yourself out. I'm always trying to caution my clients against burning themselves out. And this is just one of those things where working on yourself comes into play, being able to say no when you need to say no and rest when you need to rest. All right, you guys. So this week I'm rolling out some new things, rolling out some new programs. We did the Canva workshop on Tuesday night. It was a lot of fun. We spent about almost a good 3 hours. It was supposed to be 2 hours, y'all. We ended up spending almost 3 hours inside of Canva doing different things, because I understand how sometimes when you're building a business, you may not be in a place where you're able to hire right now. And so when you're not in a place where you can hire people or bring people, whether it's full-time employees or contractors, if you're not in that place yet, sometimes you got to do some things yourself until you get to that place where you're able to bring people on. So I know that creating a really powerful social media presence is a struggle for a lot of people, because they don't understand how to use the technology. So we spent almost 3 hours going into detail on how to do things inside of Canva. So much fun. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had our in-person accelerator in Atlanta. That was also a lot of fun. So those are two things that I was able to provide for you guys, for people in my audience that need that kind of support. I also have some more things rolling out, so stay tuned. You'll see me rolling out a brand new masterclass and some new programs for those of you who are ready for the next level of service. I'm super excited about it. So if you want to be in on it, just watch this space, okay? All right, you guys. So this has been really great. I hope you have a beautiful Thursday and a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys back here next Thursday, same time, same place. Have a great one, and I'll see you again soon.